Great. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have a great crowd today. We're going to look at what we've developed in Clark County for templates for our teachers. At the bottom of this first slide, I have a bit.ly link if you want to copy that down. There's a few links inside the slideshow, and then that way you'd have access to them and you wouldn't have to write them down. All right, first off, I want to talk a little bit about why we wanted to develop templates. Clark County School District is in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have approximately 318,000 students, 357 schools, and about 40,000 employees. So trying to distribute Canvas over an instance that is that large is a little daunting. So we wanted to come up with a system where we could create some sort of consistency as students moved around. That's the other thing that we face. Clark County has a transiency rate of approximately 30%. So we have kids moving from school to school to school. We have some schools, when I looked it up on our report card, that are up over 100%, which means they're turning over their entire student population in 1 year. So kids moving everywhere. So we needed to have some sort of system where when kids are in Canvas, they see the same kind of general idea. So every time they're moving from one teacher to another or one school to another, they're not having to relearn how to use the system. Right? So that's kind of where we started. We also wanted to ensure that we had some sort of quality course design, right, with a minimal amount of training. Right? We have, as I said, about 40,000 employees, but we have fewer than 10 people who are doing regular training. So we just can't reach all 40,000 to do training. And most of that training, honestly, is not in course design, although we do have a great professional development education course on course design, but we have 2 instructors for that. So we don't have a lot of opportunities for teachers to learn how to write online content. It's out there, but they have to kind of seek it out, and we just don't have enough trainers to cover everybody. So having these templates developed then already has the framework, the basics in mind, so they really just need to go in and put in the content, and that's their area of expertise. So they don't have to worry about how do I structure this, how do I set it up in an online course. And then the other thing that we wanted to deal with when developing these templates was to look at reducing cognitive load for students. I don't know if any of you have looked at cognitive load theory, but there are basically 3 different types of cognitive load. Intrinsic, which is just the overall difficulty of the material. There's nothing you can do about that. Extraneous, so it's all the little extra things that might be in there, the little dancing GIFs and all that kind of stuff that, you know, they're fun to look at, but they are distracting and they don't add anything and in fact can detract from students progressing in their learning. And then the third part is germane, which is taking little bits and pieces and adding them in that actually help the students to progress from working memory into long-term memory. So we've tried to add some of those components into our templates so that students have those little cues to help them process the information. So that's where we're coming from. At the bottom, the links that I've got here, just from where I got our data, the Nevada report card for Clark County School District, and then the bottom is a really good article on ways to reduce cognitive load in e-learning. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. When we set up the design, we also tried to make sure that we were paying attention to INACOL standards. So I've got a link at the bottom of this slide for the INACOL standards if you're not familiar with those. And then also, Clark County School District has what we call our components of effective lessons. So every teacher, when they're teaching in a brick and mortar class or whether they're teaching online, their lessons are supposed to meet these guidelines for the components of an effective lesson. And I also have a link at the bottom to our document. But it doesn't matter if you're not in Clark County, the templates apply the same. I mean, the components of effective lesson, you know, there's an introduction, there's the daily review, there's the development of content. It's all the same standard stuff that you are dealing with in your classrooms, your teachers are dealing with in their classrooms on a daily basis. So we wanted to make sure that we had those components covered in the template. And then finally, to deal with that germane cognitive load, one of the things that we wanted to do is to have some sort of common set of icons that clue students in that this is what they need to do. So when they see one particular icon, that always means this is vocabulary I need to know. Or when I see this other icon, this means I need to watch a video. So that those are present. But we also we wanted to make sure that we weren't violating copyright regulations and all that kind of stuff. So at Nevada Learning Academy, we were very fortunate to have a gifted student intern, a high school student intern, 16 or 17 years old. We told him what we wanted, and he drew it up for us. So we have two really nice sets of icons, one for elementary, one for secondary. And I will show you those so that you can see them. They are included in the templates. So they're ours. We give them out to, you can use them if you decide to use our templates that are shared with you. Have at it. That's what they're there for. All right, here's how the secondary template is set up. Basically, when a student logs in, the home page is like the front door to their course. So on the front page is a little bit of information about the course itself, and then it has links to the different modules throughout the course, starting with an orientation or an overview module. And that overview module goes through, what are the technical requirements that you need on your computer in order to be able to participate in this course? If you don't have a Google account set up, how do you set that up? If you, it just goes through all the different tech specs. How do you set up your Canvas notifications? All those types of things. So in that overview, we're linking out to the different Canvas guides, and I'll show you how that works. And then once we're into the actual content modules, the way the modules are set up is similar to a chapter in a textbook. So you have an introduction to the whole module, and then however many lessons that you need to cover that material, and then a summary for the module. In each lesson, you have an intro to the lesson that covers your standards, what's your essential question, all those types of things that are the components of the effective lesson. Then we have our content pages, so here's the information you need to know, and that might be several different pages depending on the content. And then the lesson activities, so discussions, assignments, quizzes, that sort of thing, and then a summary for that lesson, and then it moves into lesson 2. All right, when it's all done with that first module, it will take them right into the second module. In the template, we've only built one module, but teachers can copy and paste that information as many times as they want. What I would recommend that they do is to take that information and copy it and paste it into new pages rather than overwriting it, because once they overwrite it the first time, that module is not there anymore for them to follow. And some lessons have things that other lessons don't have, so as you're taking things out, it's like, oh my goodness, I've forgotten what was there. So just unpublish that module template and use it to copy and paste to create others. So that being said, let me go into our secondary template so I can show you what it looks like. So here's our home page, and at the top of the home page in this red outlined area, we have instructions for teachers. So this red text all has to be deleted, but it's all there for them. Hey, this is where you need to start, right? These are the things you need to do on this page. We also have a set of teacher instructions. So let me go ahead and open that for you, and I'll show you what it looks like. Now, the teacher instructions from a course design, probably not the best, but because it's just a list of text, right? Here's what you need to do on the homepage. Here's what you need to do on the syllabus. Here's what and so it just goes through every different part of the template, and what do you need to do to customize that? So those instructions are all there, right? Once they've deleted that text from the home page, it's actually included in that module template, but it's unpublished. So students won't see it, but it's there for the teachers. So that set of instructions is there. And then we have the icons that we have developed for the teachers. So we have just a little bit of information about why it's important to use those consistent icons so that as students are moving from one class to another, they're not, it's like, oh, what is that one supposed to tell me? They're familiar with it. And even though we have a different set for elementary and secondary, the actual content inside, they're just different colors is basically what it is, and different shapes. So when a student moves from an elementary to secondary, it's still the same visual cues. So what we have here is these are just built in, right? Tells them what it's for, gives them a little bit of sample text so they can just copy and paste that right out of this page and put it where they need to within their course. So we have quite a few, and as you can see, Zach, our student intern, he did a very nice job in creating these. So they're all there, right? And then there's a link to go back to home. Actually, I've got that open twice now. So on our homepage, we've got a little bit about the course, as I said, and then we have buttons that are going to link to each different module so the students can get around. This community forum is just a discussion, ungraded discussion, that students can use to ask general questions and maybe a student can answer it for. The teacher still needs to monitor it, but it's not part of the grade book. Right, so maybe, you know how kids, it's like, hey, I forgot, when is that assignment due? And of course they don't look in the course, they just ask. So somebody else can say, oh yeah, it's Thursday, don't worry about, So that the kids can talk to each other about the course. Link to the orientation and then a link to Module 1. Those are the only two that are actually live right now. The rest of these, of course, those modules don't exist, but the teachers can add those in, make those links live, take out any buttons they don't want, right, for the course. A little bit about your teacher, and then even though the icons aren't copyrighted, I've included a set of attributions at the bottom just to kind of get in good practice so that the teachers see, oh yeah, when I'm using something that belongs to somebody else, first of all, I have to have permission, and secondly, I need to make sure I note that, right, that it came from someone else. So I'm going to go ahead and go into our orientation module. Just going to give you a brief look at what this looks like. Again, instructions in red for the teacher. And then here's what the orientation module is about. By the end of the module, you're going to be able to explore how to move through your course. Right? You're going to be able to adjust your notification settings. So what are you doing, right, to be successful? What do you have to have done when you get done with the module? And about how long do you expect it to take to complete. There is a more detailed about your course page, which would actually just be kind of a duplicate of what's in the syllabus. And in fact, it says that at the bottom, this information can always be found in your syllabus. More information about your teacher. If someone is teaching strictly online, and that's where I was coming from, was Nevada Learning Academy, which is strictly online. A lot of times the kids don't have any idea who their teacher is. They've never met them, they've never seen them, they would trip over them if they ran into them in the street, they wouldn't know who they were. So how do you get in touch with that teacher? Right? What are those teachers' office hours, if they have any? Right? A little bit of a professional bio so that they know something about their teacher's professional history. The kinds of things that you tell a class when you meet with them face to face. And a little bit of a personal bio, so that they just get to know who it is that they're working with on a regular basis. We created an introduce yourself discussion in here. So not only do you need to get to know your teacher, but get to know your classmates too. Then we have a tech check. And the way that this is set up, we didn't want to have a module that had 50 pages in it. So these pages actually link out. Right? They're not included in the module, right? But then there's a link for them to come back. A student who's taken 6 or 7 courses in Canvas doesn't need to reread all of this information, right? But if it's been a semester since they've looked at a Canvas course, they might need that refresher. So they can go in and take a look at these pages. So if I just link out to the browsers page, it gives me information about that. And then I can return to the tech check and it just takes me back to that page. So it pages out. If they don't need to read it, they already know it, then they can skip over it. The settings preferences in Canvas, the same kind of deal here, linking out and coming back. How to use the different parts of Canvas. How do I submit an assignment? How do I participate in a discussion, right? How do I take a quiz? Where do I find my grades, right? How do I use the calendar? All those different kinds of things that students are going to need to know. And basically what we've done in here is just linked out the Canvas guides or the videos, right? So this isn't information that's been rewritten. It's just directing to the students to where they can find that information. And that way it's always current too, because as Canvas updates, right, they're getting current information directly from Canvas. Learning online, right, we've included a little bit about what you need to do to be a good online student, right? And then a little bit about a code of honor, right? What does it mean to plagiarize, right? What's going to happen if you do, right? That sort of thing. So those components are in there. We have a little quiz on the different parts of the orientation. And then finally, we have a summary. So that's what's included in the orientation. And then we go directly into our module template. You'll notice this isn't published, but as the teacher, it's not published, but as the teacher, I can see it. So here's my instructions for teachers again, right? That really long document. Here's the icons for teachers again. So you can see it's included in that module. It's there for the teachers, but not published for students, so they wouldn't see it. And then we have an overview. So here's our module goal, not a lesson goal, but our module goal. The module lessons, what are the different topics of each different lesson, how many different journal activities, kind of an overall summary of how many assignments and what they're going to be completing in this one module. And then we're looking at our lesson. So we've titled these M1, so Module 1, L1, Lesson 1. That way, all of the pages are titled the same, and when you as an instructor go into that pages list, all the Module 1, Lesson 1 pages are together, right? Module 2, and so on, so that you can find all that information without having to remember exactly what you titled it. So what's the learning goal? What are the tasks you're going to have to complete? The academic standards. There we go, there's our icon. How long should it take to complete this particular lesson? There we go. I backspaced somehow there. We have an introduction to the topic itself. So what is the essential question, right? The overall introduction, why is it important? So that you can answer that question. Why do I have to know this, right? Well, here's why you need to know this, here's how it applies. A little bit about with the content page, and we've just put one content page in there, but obviously teachers are going to have multiple content pages. They can create as many as they need. And I've just put lorem ipsum text in here, but here's some information that you need to know, and maybe then you're going to do a journal activity. Here's more information that you need to know, and now you're going to study some vocabulary. What are the different things that you're going to do? All right, got those icon attributions at the bottom. Again, they're just good practice. There's a discussion shell, right? There is a journal shell. So what do you need to do for a journal? And in this, and some of this, if you were going to use them, might need to be adjusted. But as we scroll through here, you can see, all right, how do you upload it using a file upload? If you're using Google Docs, what do we expect? And then there's also a link to the journal instructions that are particular to what we're doing in Clark County. We have just a basic assignment shell, and it gives the teachers some instructions about what they need to include. There's a shell for a quiz. There's nothing in the quiz. There's no questions, right? But it's insert the quiz directions here, make sure you publish it, all of that sort of thing, reminders for the teachers. And then finally, we have our summary. So that's what our secondary template looks like. Now, I am going to take you to the elementary template. The elementary template is a little different from the secondary template. The secondary template is a single subject template. The elementary is a multiple subject template. So in this case, the front page is still the doorway to the course, but this time instead of having a button for Module 1. Yes?
I'm so sorry, before you continue, is there access to these, or you're just showing us how your school sets
No, there is access, yes. And thank you for asking that, but yes, we are going to.
Something along
No, I haven't covered it, but yes, we are. There is access to these, yes. All right, so in our elementary template, the way it's set up is the doorway to the course is our home page, but there are multiple buttons, math, reading, science on that front page. And each of those buttons then links to a single page for the lesson, because we know for first and second graders, they're not going to navigate through 10 pages of content, right? Because there's 6. So we've got one long page, and it doesn't necessarily have to be long, but it's got all that information in one place for them to link to. Then the reading links to another page for reading. Now, it's a little bit more labor intensive for the elementary teachers in that they're going to have to go in and adjust those links on a daily basis so that it's going to the correct lesson, right? They can publish and unpublish lessons that they don't want the students to have access to, but they can still leave them in their course. So let's take a look at the elementary template. So here's our elementary template, and again, we have that set of instructions at the top. The instructions for teachers, same idea, a little bit different instructions in that we have to talk about linking those front page buttons to the actual lesson, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. The icons for teachers, I will show you, they are a little bit different. For the elementary, they're just a little bit more colorful and a little different shape. But if you notice, in the secondary, the little icon with the man with the hand raised, it was the same icon. So it just has a different outline, different shell. And then we have a place to put a banner, Miss Myers' 3rd grade class or whatever it happens to be. And then a link to math, to reading, to writing. This students link, actually let me come back to that. Let me open the math link so I can show you what it looks like. All the lesson pages in the elementary look the same. So here's your big idea, your essential question. Here's your introduction, your lesson, and then I've just put some of those icons in here. Here's your practice work that you need to do. You need to write a journal, whatever it is that you're going to have your students do in the elementary. And then at the bottom, there's a big stop sign that says, okay, you're done with this. You don't need to go any further, right? Go home, right? So click on that home button to go back, and now you can go back and get to your reading lesson. So when they click on reading, it takes them to the same type of page. It's the same look, so it's consistent throughout. They get to the bottom, stop, go home. This students page is just a place where you can put common resources. If you have a website you're having students look at all the time, then here's where they can get to that. Maybe you can use it to showcase student work, right? So that's what that student resource is about. And then we have a link for parents and a contact page. Now, parents aren't necessarily logging in unless they're logging in an observer role or using their student login, but when you're looking at a first or a second grader, they're probably doing just that. So the parent page opens up, gives any information that you want for the parents, and then it also includes that same orientation that we included in the secondary template. And we didn't include that orientation for the little kids because we really figured that the littler kids, the teacher, especially in a blended environment, is going to step those kids through that so that they know how to use it to begin with. But it is there for parents in case they're wondering how that works. And then back to the home. And the contact page just takes to the about your teacher, right? So again, more information probably for parents than for students, right? But it is there in the course. All right, so let me take you back and we can talk. Whoops, I don't know what I just did there. All right, so distribution. So to answer your question about where to get these, I had said that they were in Commons, but now I'm not actually certain if they're in Commons, but they are in Jive, right? And if you would like a copy, right, my email is here. I also have business cards. My coworker, Neil, he's the one who actually developed the icons that are on the front page of the elementary template. He's got business cards. Feel free to email me, and I can just send you a zip folder with both of those items in there. So that's what we have for templates. Questions? Yes?
Can you read your email address out loud?
Yes, I can. It is J.K. Myers, which is spelled Myers, at interact, interact.ccsd.net. Yes, go ahead. Great. Okay, the question was, how do we get these templates out to our course shells? We have a variety of different ways that we're distributing them right now. We are not going to have Canvas Commons turned on for our instance until we have some more administrative controls because our instance is so large. So we provide them in a variety of different places. Any of the teachers who take our trainings are given the templates. We also have a Canvas controller, somebody who runs Canvas in each school. And that person can copy the template from a course shell in their instance, in their sub-account, to any courses that they create for the teachers in their building. In our email system, we also have a conferencing ability, so we can store documents and things like that in our email system, and the templates are available. The exported course files are available there as well. Yes?
I'm sorry, in Canvas Commons, how do you get the templates out of Canvas? What are you searching for to get to them in Canvas Commons, do you know?
You know what, I haven't looked for them in Canvas Commons, so I don't know for sure. So your best bet is to go ahead and email me, and I will send them to you. The question was, how do you find them in Canvas Commons? And the answer is, I'm not sure. Yes?
Do you have templates at all for syllabus? So
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I did not mention that. The question was, do I have templates for syllabus? And if I go back into the, I closed it. Let me pull up the secondary template. And yes, we do have a template in the syllabus. So it's, what are the school policies? What's your pacing guide, right? But we don't have a template for necessarily the pacing guide itself. Okay.
So is that locked, or people click edit and in theory
They can edit that and they can change all of that.
So you don't require, like, you must have the course name, the teacher name, the policies here. So I could go click edit and change it completely.
The question was, can teachers go in and edit and change this completely? The answer to that is yes. We do not have it locked down so that you have to have this, you have to have that. Canvas is fairly new, and we're using it primarily as a blended environment. So each school is going by whatever their administrative team is saying you need to include in your syllabus. Yes?
Do you happen to have any courses that you could actually show us that a teacher has used the template in either the primary or the secondary?
Let me see. The question was, do we have a course that I can demonstrate? We have a lot of courses that are built in our online school. I can go ahead and pull those up. I could show you. It's going to take me a while to pull one up because I have access to all of that. It takes a little bit. But I will show you a sample course that we built. So in this sample course, it's just talking about copyright in the curriculum. So here's our copyright in the curriculum. It just has the module 0 and module 1. You can see this looks a little different from our actual template because we've adjusted things a little since I wrote this sample course. But if I go into the module 1, right, it shows copyright and fair use. Here's our module goal. Here's our module lessons, right, the assessment, and so on. So this is a sample course. And we have different icons in here because we didn't have Zach when I made this. So I need to go in and update this sample course. And then we have our learning goal. What tasks do you need to complete? So this is what a sample course would look like. All right. Any other questions? All right. I think we're out of time. Thank you. I know it's warm in here, so I appreciate everybody hanging with me.